Hello and welcome to Writing Quest. My name is Brendan Pugh, and in today's episode we're going to talk about how to write the build-up of your novel. Huzzah! Okie dokie, so the build-up, what is it? The build-up of your novel is essentially the part between the inciting incident and the first plot point. So you have the opening hook, which we talked about a few weeks ago, and then you're going to have the inciting incident, which is the part of the story that gets your character pushed into the story in a way they can't leave. And so this is the part between the inciting incident and the first plot point where you're just building the tension. Basically, that's where the name comes from, the build-up. You're building the tension between the character and the story. So we're going to go through 5 tips for writing the build-up of your novel. Here we go. Number 1, continually throw up obstacles to the main character. This one is pretty much the most obvious one, I would imagine. You're basically doing at this point, the main character is going to be wanting to remain the same. And so they've had this inciting incident that is pushing them to become different, to change, to grow, to go into the story. So now these obstacles you start throwing at them are going to be something that, you know, doesn't allow them to go backwards. So they're going to keep pushing against it. They're going to keep not wanting to move forward and not wanting to participate in the story. And so you just start throwing up obstacle after obstacle that keeps pushing them further into the story and forcing them to change, and it will feel uncomfortable for them and they won't like it. Bad things happen, some good things might happen, but ultimately it's just a bunch of events in the story and scenes don't allow them to go backwards. They have to go forward. Number 2, challenge their thinking at every turn. Similar to the first one where you're putting up these kind of physical obstacles that are, you know, these events that are happening, you also want to challenge their thinking. It's kind of a mental game. So they're going to have beliefs and ideas about how they should be and operate in the world, how they should be in what the truth of what they know or what they believe to be true is. And so your job is to throw up these things that challenge what they believe to be true. Ultimately, these things kind of lead to the best character change and the best, you know, motivation for them to keep going through the story as they learn new things and as they are challenged. And so similar to number 1, where number 1 is more like physical events that happen in the real world, the physical events kind of need to turn into these mental games for them that challenge everything that they believe and think. Number 3, never allow them to rest. You don't really ever want to slow down at this point. There may be the occasional time, depending on the story, where it may be appropriate to let off the gas a little bit. But in my opinion, at this point in the story, you definitely want to just keep ramping up the tension. You just want to keep adding to it, keep putting on the pressure, because you don't want your reader to lose interest because your character no longer has to participate in the story. And by throwing up these physical and mental challenges constantly to them, challenging what they believe and think, you will keep the pressure on them and they'll continue to force them to go, it will continue to force them to change and evolve, therefore making your book more of a page turner and your reader will want to just keep on reading. Number 4, this one is one of my favorites. You want to pit the characters' choices against their relationships. So they're going to be having all of these moments, these physical challenges and mental challenges and things that are changing what they're expected to do and what they believe. And so what this is they have kind of predetermined relationships with a parent or a friend or someone in their village or whatever it may be. And the choices they now have to make based on all this pressure they're receiving needs to go against the grind of what those people expect of them. So it's basically a really great way to continue building the tension without having more external events. Like, you don't want it to be just constant external things making it happen. This is more of a way to turn it to an internal thing where they didn't really make a choice to hurt someone on purpose, but their choice did hurt that person. And so therefore it forces the pressure to go up on them in an emotional way as well. So you've got kind of a physical thing, then you've got a mental thing, and now you have more of an emotional thing. And number 5, pit the character's choices against their own internal conflict. So this is a little bit of a nuance to the previous one, where you're pitting their choices against what their relationships think they should be doing. This is something that they have their own beliefs about what they should do. It's kind of similar to pitting it against their thinking, but sometimes your thinking and your internal conflict can be different. So the reason I kind of want to break it out is pitting them against their own internal conflict. Their internal conflict is a fear. So it may not actually be based in truth. It may not be based in anything other than that's an internal fear. And so if you take the choices they're making and you make it kind of the opposite of what their fear is, now you've got this really big internal, like, what is happening? What do I do? So you're hitting them basically from all sides. You're hitting them from this external events and the mental games, and you have these emotional things. And now you have this like inner talk thing that just is totally crazy that they can't handle. And so all of these things kind of force them to continue changing, building the tension, and getting to the next part of the story. So that is it for how to write the build-up. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you learned something. I hope you did. Put a comment down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on Writing Quest. Huzzah!